Okay, I'm done harping on these same topics, right? Like, I'm just going to talk about these basic popular things. And, with politics today, like, I basically feel like Wittgenstein. But the thing about Wittgenstein is he was celebrated. Everyone was like, oh, you solved philosophy. But, it's like a lot of people solved politics. Like, a lot of people know what's going on, but we're just all censored. So, like, I have no mouth and I must scream, right? But you don't actually have to move to China. I've solved my own problem because I have a dog, right? In this video, I'm going to talk about how I love my dogs and how I'm going to talk about what's special about a dog, and then I'm going to well, first of all, moving to Georgia, it's like a beautiful country, and they're also have the first mover advantage regarding countries who are aligning with China, because like right now in the West all these countries are like aligned with USA, right, or Russia, but then Georgia's like the only one who is like going straight to China, and being the first to align with China, they're going to reap the most benefits. Plus the Georgian history is kind of like good. And one thing, this is a fact that they won't tell you, is in 1960, the population of Georgia was 4 million people, and today it's 12 million people, with 10% of them being immigrants. So it's like their population almost tripled. Now, if you look at the USA population in 1960, it was 180 million or something, and then today it's 360 million. But then if you look at what percent of them are like third, second, or first generation immigrants, it's like 76% of our population. So if you remove 76% of 360 million, that's like 70 million. So actually, since 1970, about 60 years ago, or 1965, our population has halved. Or no, quartered. No. Yeah, like we have 25% of our original population, because the USA is a cannibalistic evil machine, right? And this is right, like this is just the statistics, but obviously they don't let you talk about it. And the irony of this great replacement theory, it already happened, right? Like if you look at West Virginia, like I'm Appalachian, do you see what they've done to the American people? They killed them, right? West Virginia is like the poorest state in our country, and all these. That's why you're not going to find an original American. Like I'm I'm mixed with some immigrants, but at least I'm Appalachian. But you're not even going to find like any American blood, because we all died. Like I asked my mom, like, what happened to our family? Because we don't really have extended family. It's like, oh, they got addicted to drugs, they died, they're racist or whatever. Like what this country's done to its people is killed them, right? And if you look at China in 1965, they had like 400 million people, and then today they have 1.6 billion people, and all of them are Chinese, so their population multiplied by 4, ours divided by 4, and then we replaced everyone with immigrants. So really, like, if you're American, like, and they find, like, immigrants have the most children in America, second generation, second most, third generation, third most, and then, like, once you're American, you just stop having kids, right? Because you're like, USA is just an evil machine, so I'm going to move to Georgia, because then I could bring my dog. But that, if you just look at that population statistic, which is a fact, in the past 60 years, if you take away third, second, and first generation immigrants in America, also Nick Fuentes is a third generation immigrant, right? He's not American, he's not Appalachian, he has no roots in this country, his grandfather wasn't in the Great Depression, he wasn't in the Civil War, right? He wasn't Confederate or Union. But we're all dead. Americans all got murdered. So like we have white people, but like they're not American white people. Go to West Virginia, see what happened to Americans, right? Murdered, drugged. But yeah, it's an evil country. You have to escape. And I'm gonna move to Georgia. That's great. Like I love Georgia. And they're like the first mover advantage supporting China, so they're going to get advantage from that. And really, the problem isn't Muslim people, because, Georgia has some Muslim people and it's majority Christian. There's nothing wrong with being Christian or Muslim. The problem is the CIA. Okay, that's it. Like you could have diversity. You just can't have some CIA forcing it and using it. So that's a major topic. Like all the Americans died, all the Appalachians, Union, Confederate. That's all. They killed them all, right, and replaced them. Great replacement theory. Like it's America. That's what happened. So what else? Okay, I'm going to talk about Trump. Democrats and Republicans. Obviously, it's the same thing. The way the CIA chooses whether they're going to be Republican or Democrat is like, first, right now they're Republican, right? Because they want to kill everyone. So, like, by having Trump in office, it gives them an excuse to bomb Iran, attack everyone, be evil. And then next, like, once Trump is done, they're going to be, okay, oh, what a terrible mistake, we're going to be Democrat. And then they're going to replace all the Americans they murdered, right? Because all the Americans are dying, the birth rate is down, we're going to take 100 million immigrants. And it's just an evil cycle, and it's coming to an end, right? Like, China's replacing them. But, yeah, it's just pure propaganda, like, moths to a flame. USA is a flame, and it burns people. Okay, now I'm going to talk about, I think, yeah, that's the gist of it. That's the gist of Democrat versus Republican. You don't have a choice. The CIA decides, are we going to go to war against this little poor country and be evil, or are we going to take in a ton of immigrants and cause chaos and enforce a surveillance state, right? It's just, it's just an excuse to do all the evil and make it seem like it's the same thing. It's all an illusion. America's all an illusion. I mean, what made America famous in the first place, what made them powerful was the nuke, and that's not an illusion, right? That was real. But, America's kind of famous for Hollywood. That's what really made us famous, and that's just pure illusion. It's just pure propaganda, Western propaganda illusion. And, I mean, Georgia is sort of Western. I mean, Stalin's from Georgia, but, really, that's just the best place for an American to move to at this point. They're safe. They're the closest to China out of all the white people nations. So... and their history is pretty safe, and if you, as I've said, since 1960, their population has doubled. Their ethnic population has doubled. China's has quadrupled, and America, the worst of all, is quartered. 75% of us have died, right? 75% less Americans exist than existed in 1960. And, they'll say, no, it's doubled. It's like, yeah, it's 75% immigrants. Our country is... Oh, wait. Okay, so since our... Okay, no, I think... No, our population is halved. Okay, so there's half as many Americans as there were in 1960. They died, right? Look at West Virginia. So not quartered, halved. And that's easier to say, too. But I guess I'm going to talk about dogs, right? And I'm going to make this topic pretty simple. Because I'm going to make a hierarchy. The special thing about dogs is you put energy and love into a dog, and then it returns it. It gives you benefits, like it defends your house, it keeps you safe and comfortable, and you don't have to worry about intruders. You have a great alarm system. A dog is better than the most. You buy a $10,000 alarm system, a dog's gonna do you better, right? A dog and a gun, but and it's like a little friend. You take them on walks, and you learn from dogs because dogs are so happy. They have fun and they play, and you train them and stuff. Dog is a great thing, and the worst thing is like a bad girlfriend, because sometimes people treat their bad girlfriends like dogs, and they lose all their money and everything, right? So a bad girlfriend is actually worse than like a porn addiction, right? Because porn addiction is like you're addicted to nonsense garbage. You just waste your energy on nothing, right? But then a bad girlfriend is a parasite, right? So, porn is basically idol worship, but then a bad girlfriend is a parasite. But likewise, I guess a wife is a good wife is like the best thing. You hear so many stories about, one of the biggest hackers. I watched a video and he started crying talking about his wife because he was gonna die. He was homeless, and then he had a wife who gave him a house and showed him his potential, and then he became a 100 millionaire, right? So, I'm trying to get a good wife. I'll probably get a Georgian wife, move to Georgia, and I'll try getting a higher class one and kind of marrying up for my children, because I just care, obviously the greatest thing of all is the children, which is like a even better version of a dog. But in the West, the family is destroyed. Like my parents are, they're not nearly as terrible as other families, but they're Western, like they're completely Westernized boomers, right? So they're like propagandized, Westernized, and as I've said, millennials and boomers, these older people, are put into a Truman Show scenario regarding what propaganda they consume. So they think, oh, capitalism, America's still great, and that's why we see that us Gen Z kids, right, we suffer alone. We try to explain to them like, no, we're screwed, and they're like, you're just lazy or something, or like whatever. You're just whatever. They don't even listen to us. So I'm just gonna move to Georgia, take my dog, look for a wife, get a job. I have a bachelor's degree in communications. Who knows? But you don't have to move to China. But if you're independent and alone, I mean, you should move to China. China's the safest bet. Georgia's not exactly like the safest, but it's like around safest. It's got first mover advantage, and its history is okay. So.